And now it's time for the ridiculous.
What kinds of things make people piss?
And how many suitors exactly has she dismissed?
Siri, what are some locations for a lover's tryst?
Oh, darling, surely there must be a list.
A list?
A list?
A list?
A list?
You're telling me it's all here on this bleeding list? That's preposterous and ludicrous.
Well, actually, it's all quite
Ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous.
Welcome to The Ridiculous. I'm Sally Brooks.
And I'm Jen O'Neill, and we're back with more fun lists for you this week.
Jen, you all right?
Yeah, that was a whole thing.
We had a couple of technical difficulties, but we are here, and I hope you can hear us.
I hope you can hear me. I don't know why, but for some reason, like my microphone doesn't work, and then I tried a different microphone, and that didn't work. And then I was like, let me try it on my old shitty computer, and it's working on the old shitty computer. But let's just hope that it holds up. Because it's shitty. It's a real shitty computer.
I know. I remember this shitty computer. It was like one of the reasons we were like, we got to get you a new computer. We couldn't record anything.
I know. I hope we can get through this episode. You know, that my shitty computer, I kind of love it though. I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's like a warm blanket. I refuse. Like, I have nice computers in my office. They're like, here, use these nice, Apples and stuff with the big screens. And I was like, no, thank you.
Uh-huh.
I love my shitty Chromebook. I don't know how to use anything else.
Can I tell you, as you were saying, I will not get rid of it, you totally froze.
Oh, I did? Oh, fuck.
For a second. Totally fine. Totally fine.
Okay.
Well, I am happy you're here. It's good to see your face. You look gorgeous. You look very springy.
Oh, thanks. I had business meetings today.
Oh, were you business, Jen? Did you have a blazer on over that power shirt?
No, it's too hot for the blazer, but it's like, buy, sell. No, I'm just kidding. I was just like, do you want this apartment?
Rent. Well, business, Jen, should we get into our list this week?
Let's do it.
I'm first this week, and by popular demand, I have caved to the requests of our audience. And by our audience, I mean my sister-in-law, Tasha, and my son, Max, who both love stupid criminals, as do I. That's why we're all family. And so this week, I have a list from BBC.com compiled by Emma Ailes, and it is 13 of the world's most stupid criminals.
I love it.
I know I've done a dumb criminals list, but it turns out there's enough to go around. We don't even have to repeat. So these are 13 more of the world's dumbest criminals. Okay, so the first one is a armed robber named Andrew Hennels, who was caught. He posted on Facebook about his plans to raid a supermarket. So he included a selfie with a picture of a knife, and he wrote, "Doing Tesco, over." And then police caught him 15 minutes later with a knife and 410 pounds in stolen cash from Tesco's in Kingsland, Norfolk.
It's wild to me how many people, incorporate social media in their crime committing.
It is wild. Like people who live stream it.
Yeah, like what are they thinking?
Like that shit's forever. The internet is forever, you guys.
Let alone like how many closed circuit, cameras there are everywhere, all over the place. Like you can't do anything without getting caught on camera. And it's like,
yeah.
So you're already fighting against the odds with that. And then to record yourself or post a picture yourself, it's like extra stupid.
Oh, I mean, I think we have said this before, but it's like, it's a good thing that there are dumb criminals. Like, it's a good thing a lot of them are stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
We would rather the dumb ones than the smart ones. Okay, this next one is a retired couple from Lancashire returned from holiday in 2014 and discovered a burglar asleep in their bed. When the couple came home, they were amazed to find the intruder. His name was Lukas Chanawaski. He had done their dishes, washed his underwear, and even bought some groceries. Miss Dyson said their house wasn't too tidy when they went away, but the intruder, who was originally from Poland, had actually tidied up. She said he did burn an old saucepan, but that happens.
You know, I would let that
happens.
kind of intruder intrude.
Come on in.
Yeah.
Come on in. Straighten some things.
If you're going to earn your keep, fair game.
Right? I mean, people pay good money for someone to come clean their house. You can sleep in my bed. I don't care. Okay, so in 2012, two Welsh tourists were in court because they got drunk and stole a penguin from SeaWorld in Australia. And can I tell you what I think is my favorite detail of this is that the penguin's name was Dirk.
Aw, little Dirk Diggler. I just picture like them like just grabbing its little wing and just like, come on.
Walking out with it.
Like, like a little toddler that doesn't know any better.
Okay, so apparently they broke into the Queensland's Gold Coast, swam with the dolphins, and then let off a fire extinguisher in the shark enclosure, and then made off with poor Dirk. Apparently they woke up, didn't remember they had a penguin, woke up hungover and found the penguin in their apartment and tried their best to care for him. They fed him and put him in the shower. Then they later released Dirk into a canal, but they were spotted by locals who called the police. So they ended up being fined only 1,000 Australian dollars each. And then the judge was just like, hey, drink a little less vodka.
Oh my God. Wow.
And Dirk was rescued and returned to SeaWorld unharmed.
Thank God.
There you go.
Wild adventure. It's like Baby's Day Out, penguin style.
The penguin, yeah. Can you imagine waking up to a penguin in your apartment? I'd be like,
no,
oh, no.
I can't. I cannot imagine.
It's like The Hangover. When they
woke up totally
with a tiger in their apartment. Okay, a man suspected of arson and vandalism sent a selfie to the police in Ohio because he found the photo on his arrest warrant to be unflattering. So basically his arrest warrant was posted and he was like, oh yeah, that's not what I look like. So he texted the police a photo of himself and wrote, here's a better photo. That one is terrible. He then told a local radio station, man, they just did me wrong. They put a picture out that made me look like I was a Thundercat or James Brown on the run. I can't do that. So the police department responded by saying, we thank him for being helpful, but we would now appreciate it if he would come to speak to us. Apparently he was later arrested in Florida.
Honestly, that I can see myself doing that.
Just being like, you know what? It's not worth it.
Like, no, let me send you my updated headshots.
Like that lighting was not flattering.
Thank you.
I was arrested once and had mugshots taken when I was in college. Have I told you this story?
Do?
Well,
was it like drinking underage or
so
something?
It was drinking underage,
okay.
but that wasn't where I got the mugshot. So I was drinking underage. I got a ticket, like, you know, they gathered everybody up. And then the fine for the ticket was basically if you did classes and paid a fine, then you could get your record expunged. So they would seal your record, right?
Okay.
But
you're breaking it wide open right now on the podcast.
Right, exactly. Well, because I paid the fine and then I did all of the classes except for the last one. And I called the place and I was like, hey, I have a final exam on the day of the last class. Can I skip it? And they were like, yeah. And I thought they were like,
no.
yeah, you can skip it. And they meant like, yeah, but then you have to make it up, which I never did. And then, so because I didn't complete all the requirements, they put a warrant out for my arrest. And then the police came to my sorority house.
Oh my God.
And the girl at like the front desk at the sorority house was like, I think she's at the Union studying. And so then I had to like call and find a time to turn myself in.
Oh
So I
my
had to go turn
God.
myself in, and I got like mugshots taken, and then I had to hire a lawyer. And I had to bail myself out. First of all, I had to bail myself out, which I used my spring break money to bail myself out because
Oh
I
no.
didn't want my parents to know. And then I had to hire a lawyer and go back like over the summer.
Oh no.
And when they took my mugshot, they were like laughing because it was like kind of before everybody in the world had tattoos, and they were like, "Okay, well, if you have any tattoos, we're gonna have to take pictures of them." And I was like, "Actually, I do. I have a dragon and a tribal sun. So somewhere there is a mugshot of me." But I can't find it for the life of me. I have been trying to track down this mugshot, but I must just be lost to the ether. I
Oh
even
my
like
God. Wow.
set like sent a letter to the court or like an email to the court to be like, do you have
Can
any
I see
record
my
of
mugshot?
Yes, because I'm like, I would love to see it because I totally was like dressed super preppy. I was like 20 years old, you know.
And if I can't see it on a scale of 1 to 10, like how cool do I look? Feel free to pass it around the station, get everybody else's opinions, but
like how hot am I?
doable or
Okay, so here's another dum-dum that posted on Facebook. So this 19-year-old named Logan Reese James, the police posted his mugshot and about him on Facebook, and were just like, he was like released on his own recognizance, and like he broke his bond. Like he didn't come back, he didn't show up in court when he was supposed to. And so they posted about that on Facebook, and then he replied to that post and said, "Ha ha, catch me if you can, won't see me slipping." And then he said, "I've been walking around near home, so they're not trying too hard to catch me." And then he was later caught that day, and police thanked him for drawing attention to our efforts to return him to prison. So
oh my God.
basically, because he was like, "Hey, babe, I'm here. I've been walking around my home." And they're like, "Well, now we know where to find you, you ding dong."
What an idiot. Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's so funny. I love those stories when like people just get too cocky and like showy and then it's
Yeah.
like nope. I always picture, this is so kind of off topic, but it's like a picture in my brain whenever something like that happens is I remember when my brother Tommy and my cousin Robbie, who's a year older than Tommy, younger than me, who's basically like a brother to
Yeah.
me. They had just like went and like rollerbladed down to the 7-Eleven in New York and like got Slurpees. And my brother dropped his Slurpee and then Robbie was like, ha ha, was like laughing at him, was like skating backwards and making fun of him and all this stuff. And then my brother just like very calmly walked up to him and just slapped Robbie's out of his hand. And Robbie got so upset. And it was just like, what did you expect was gonna happen? It was just so funny. It's always like in my mind, that's like what I see whenever I see, like we do a story recently about a boxer that was like getting cocky and like dancing around a guy that he had just like was like winning a few rounds against or whatever, and then while the guy was dancing around and being cocky, the guy knocked him right out.
Yeah,
I love stuff like that.
Idiots.
That was
Okay,
awesome.
here's my last one.
Okay.
So this man, James Allen, was trying to hold up a newsagent in Oxfordshire. So apparently during his attempted burglary, he took off his face mask, accidentally fell over a big like drinks display. So like a display, like a tower of Mountain Dew is what I'm. And then he could not open the door to escape because he was pushing when the thing said pull. So he was like doing the thing, where you're like pushing on the door, and he was like,
God.
let me out. And so he said that the lady, he had just held her up with a toy gun, had to come open the door for him. And not only that, but he had also tried to rob the same shop 10 days earlier. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, and then 2 years for possession of a firearm or imitation firearm, which
Oh my
apparently is a
God.
crime in the
Wow.
UK. Amazing. Just, I love the push instead of pull that he just.
Isn't an imitation of a firearm also illegal in the United States?
I don't know
I
if
would
it
think,
is.
I mean, like everything's illegal in the United States.
I mean,
Anything
unless it's a
fun.
gun.
Yeah.
Then it's do what you want with it.
True. Isn't that funny how that works? I wonder if there's more repercussions or worse repercussions for a fake gun than an actual gun. Oh, America.
America.
Jesus Christ.
So that's my list, and that sounds for Tasha and for Max, and for all of you who wanted some dumb criminals.
Are you happy, Max? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. So, we talked about my sister-in-law, Tasha, on our last episode about how she was like, missing the true crime. And she texted me, like texted our whole family thread and was like, all right, everybody, watch what you say in front of Sally, because it's going to become like content for her podcast. And I was just like, I mean, we gotta get it somewhere.
I mean, I think anybody that knows us in any capacity should expect that.
Yeah. Watch what you say.
Watch what you say. The guy that I told you that I went out on the date with,
you got to say off the record.
If you want it to be off the record.
We're journalists. Tasha, we are journalists, and we've said this a million times.
Serious journalist. The person that I told you I went out on like a few dates with like years ago, the fat pig story, which I opened myself up to everyone calling me fat pig, but
I gotta love
was
that.
worth it because the story was funny. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But also there is something to be said for the fact that like, if you guys are calling me fat pig openly, then you think that I'm thin enough to where that's not going to bother me.
Right? And you think that you think that she's thin enough that like,
but you're wrong.
Other people aren't going to be like, oh, what are you doing? That's wrong.
Right. So I'll take it, but also it still bothers me. But anyway, so I actually sent him, because we made a video clip of it, and I sent it to him, and I was like, "This one's for you." But he was a really good sport about it, and super nice. But yeah, see, that's what happens if you end things with a person in a nice, kind way. You can send each other jokes. And it's no big deal.
Right.
Stay on the right side of history. So anyway, my list this week is an article or listicle for BuzzFeed by Sid Robinson. And I thought this was really interesting because have you ever had to sign NDAs before for things?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I have. But
and did you ever hold to it?
I'm trying to think. I've like signed them for like when I've auditioned for things. And I didn't really like read them all that quickly.
I don't read them at all.
I'm like, nobody's going to come after me.
I know. Like, have you ever heard of a story as a lawyer? Have you ever heard of a story about somebody like getting sued because they breached an NDA? I don't think I ever have.
I don't know. I don't think it happens for these like lower level things, but I just think probably the threat of the lawsuit is what keeps people from talking. My guess is like a lot of reality shows, they might actually try to enforce those, where it's like, oh, you don't want to know the like a competition show and we don't want to find out the end of it or something like that.
That makes sense. I'll tell you what would be the bigger threat is not getting sued if you threatened that person with like, we're going to cut your part right out of this show. Then I would shut up. If they were like, if you say one word, anything you've said on the show will be erased and you will not be on the show. Then I would be like, oh, holy shit. But if you were like, we will sue you for every dime you have. We will take your children away from you.
You're like, that's fake.
Like, that's whatever. Let me tell you about the
Try.
show that I'm doing. Yeah. But this is this listicle is people who have whose NDAs have since expired, which I also didn't know that NDAs expired.
Yeah.
And they're finally sharing their confidential secrets, and they're juicy, juicy, juicy. Is what Sid said.
Great.
So
Triple juice.
very juicy. This one says, I went to school with a girl who was a working model, and she told me that she once had a job shooting an ad for some kind of miracle weight loss product. They shot the before and the after images on the same day and just put her in an ill-fitting bikini and some unflattering poses for the before shots.
Yeah.
I knew a girl who did that in high school too.
Oh, really?
Isn't that weird that like and to think about that she was in high school and they were using her abs as before and after abs. Like,
Yeah.
that just seems wrong.
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
well, I can't ever achieve that.
Yeah.
Like, how could I ever achieve that?
This person said, my brother-in-law was approached to be on The Bachelorette. When he told them he was already married, they said it didn't matter. He wouldn't be picked. They just needed to fill out the cast.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know this because one of our good friends was a casting agent for The Bachelorette.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I went with her once scouting because I was like, hell yeah, this will be so fun. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
yeah.
just a matter of getting people's names. And that's it. Just walking
Yeah.
up to random people and making them think that they really had a shot of being on The Bachelorette. Or like guys like really wanting you to convince them. And it's like, no, dude, I don't really care.
Mm.
I'm not like,
I'm not.
I don't care that much to where I'm going to convince you. Just sign this form, okay?
Yeah.
This one says, I work for a digital agency that developed the Westminster Abbey website, and we had a secret project for the changes on the website in preparation for when the Queen died. I literally waited 10 years to see my work go live.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
you
I
think
know
about,
that they do that in news. Yeah.
right. They pre-write all of like anybody who's notable, like pre-write their obituaries. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's like when you know you've made it.
Right.
So you've got an obituary made already.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah.
I imagine the Queen she lived a long time, probably a lot longer than people thought she was going to. So they probably had that one ready for quite a while.
Probably. This one, I actually knew this, and it was disappointing because I used to love this show. It says, a house hunter guest checking in. I never made the show because I didn't close on the house, but here are my secrets. Number one, I had to have a house under contract before going on the show. Did you know that?
I did know that, yeah.
And number two, producers would select the other houses that we were interested in.
Mm-hmm.
This one I didn't know. This is interesting. This says, and three, I was assigned another significant other who was more interesting than my actual significant other. How do you live that down as the other significant other? You know what I mean? Like,
right?
You're so boring. You couldn't even be on this boring reality show about picking a house. Oh my God. So
that's
funny.
amazing. I did not know that. I had a friend also that was on, it was like House Hunters or Love It or List It. I had one of those and was just like, oh yeah, it's all bullshit.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like they already like own the house before.
Yeah,
like,
you have to.
Yeah. So now when I do watch it now, I just try to like spot the lies. I'm like, bullshit, 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 bullshit. You look like you're telling the truth there. But this one says actually this person's name is Butt McNugget 33. Clearly they've matured since 1990. In 1990, I signed an NDA at Chili's when they showed me how to make their new Awesome Blossom. No other restaurant in town had anything like it, and it was hugely popular at the time. Wow.
Like, can you still make it?
To the Awesome Blossom.
I mean, I imagine
then they started selling then it was a blooming onion. And then they started selling the things that you could buy on Home Shopping Network to make your own at-home blooming onion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like a onion cutter thing.
It's like, it turns out you just gotta cut an onion and then put it in a fryer. That's what you need. What you need, Jen, is to get yourself a deep fryer.
I do. I'm scared of deep fryers. I'll be honest with you.
My brothers, when they were in high school, bought a Fry Daddy because we were like real latchkey kids, right? So we were just like left to our own devices. And they both worked at a grocery store for a little bit of time. So they would just come home with like stuff that they got at the grocery store. Like I remember one time my brother Keith brought home rabbit and they just would fry everything. Like they just wanted to see what they could fry and what it tasted like. And yeah, they fried everything. And our house just smelled like grease
Ugh.
from their Fry Daddy.
This was only just a couple years ago when my brother came home from LA and convinced my mom that we needed to fry a turkey for Thanksgiving. And then like they went and bought a turkey fryer and had to buy like quarts and like gallons of peanut oil or some shit. And then like fried one turkey and then never spoke of it again and never took like fried another thing in the stupid turkey fryer. I do remember it tasting pretty good though.
I was going to say, how was that turkey?
It's pretty
feel
good.
Like no matter what you do to a turkey, it kind of always tastes the same. Like there's nothing that's going to make a turkey like the most amazing thing you've ever eaten. It's just always
like
going to be turkey,
right? Yeah.
Like it might be dry, otherwise, then it's bad. But even if it's good turkey, it's kind of like,
yeah, it's just turkey. It's like the significant other on House Hunters that was replaced. He's just a guy.
It's just a guy.
Just a turkey. This one says, I was a model for a big name, well-known makeup companies. For a few big name, well-known makeup companies. I did several print ads for magazines and a few television commercials. The makeup artists do use the product advertised, but minimally. That mascara they're touting, it's over really good fake eyelashes. And they also use another brand of mascara along with the one they're trying to sell you. Plus, the clothes in the ads you see are pinned to high heaven on the model. They fit nothing like how they look. It's not you. It's not your body. It's fake advertising. Most of us models look like you wearing that crap without all the pins and tucks and double-sided tape.
Yeah.
It's not surprising.
That's why I so appreciate any website where people can post pictures of themselves in clothes. Like that has stopped me buying so many things.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, this is what it actually looks like on.
I love the new, I only shop at Madewell, but I love the new like Madewell. What they do now is they show like 3 different body types. So they show the thing on this body type, that body type, and so it's like you can kind of, see what it would really look like on someone closer to what you look like.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. I like that is one of my criterias for buying clothes is that I will not buy clothes if they don't have a variety of body types. I mean, I don't need to see every single. I like it when they have 3 different body types on for each garment, which I think is like everybody should do. But I'm like, if you don't have like a variety of models of real people and real bodies, then like I don't know.
Yeah.
Go
scratch.
Yeah, you can kick rocks. Clothes.
Yeah. This one is really cute, actually. This one says, I'm a journalist and I had to sign an NDA to meet Michael Jordan for a collab launch. I thought it was strange because as a journalist, I usually do the interviews, but the tables were reversed and he asked me lots of questions. I had just had a baby and he was telling me how to sleep train and saying that I would thank him later. The NDA has now expired and I have Michael to thank for helping me survive those early months, years. I wish he would actually go public with his advice. Imagine all the new sports obsessed parents who would listen to him.
Right.
That's so cute, Michael Jordan.
That's very cute.
That's adorable. This one says, I worked at a hotel where a political party has its annual conference. 5 months previously, the party had gone through a very public, huge budget scandal. Anyway, they went on to spend £3 million on a 3-day bender. I was offered a free trip to London by a member of parliament. My colleague was touched inappropriately by another, and I saw one of them who was married kissing a member of the staff in a sneaky corner. These people run our country for a fucking hobby. It's a joke. Ugh.
Yeah.
It makes me want to vomit. Ay, ay, ay. This one said, I had to sign many NDAs in my line of hobby. For fun, I go to free movie screenings. Sometimes I get to see movies 3 to 6 months before they end up hitting the theaters. Then they get surveyed afterwards about the different parts of the movie. So far, some of the screenings I've seen are Crazy Rich Asians, The Gentleman, It Chapter 2, and my favorite, Don't Worry, Darling. So all of the plot twists I have to keep secret for months until the movie comes out. Don't
Oh,
even ask me to
interesting.
do that because I would never keep that secret.
Jen's out here
Showing
spoiling
up the
plots for
podcast.
everybody.
This one, I was just talking about how it's like, well, yeah, like that's if a good friend asks me like, please don't say anything to anybody, I won't. And
Yeah.
I'm really good at keeping that. But like stupid shit like this, I would definitely tell. But I was just talking about like how I can't lie. I'm like the worst fucking liar.
Yeah.
Because my mom is the worst liar in the world. She's the worst. The worst. Like the other night we all went out to dinner and there was like an extra menu or something.
Yeah.
And my mom said to the server, she's like, and you could take the extra menu because that person's not coming. And like totally like covered her mouth and started like turning her head, and we were like, wait, what? Like what is going on down there? Like what? And she was like, nothing, nobody's coming. There's nothing. I like made such a thing, and we were like, clearly something is happening. It ended up being a stupid thing. Like my mom, like thought that we kept adding people to the reservation, so she added extra, and then she was like, they're not coming. But it was just like, what? And that's how. But like. I'm like that too. So like if you ask me about a movie ending, I'm definitely going to tell you about it. This one says, I taught a yoga class to the cast of The Real World. They were all super chill and polite. The show portrayed the cast that season as absolutely unhinged and entitled, but at least in the yoga class, they were sweet and awkward and just wanted to make sure that they were doing it right. I have family members who've worked in reality TV for years, but I didn't realize until that day just how intentionally people's on-screen personas are edited in order to tell a good story. Like, I get it. You hired these people because they're hot and uninteresting, so you have to make them seem interesting. And I'm sure that clip is nowhere to be found because it was just them doing yoga and getting along.
Yeah, I was going to say there, I'm sure, there was no yoga class in that season. I know, knowing people that work in reality TV, it's like you can't ever take any reality TV as real. It's so contrived and produced. And
but I mean, it's do, and you're not going to tell me not to. Okay.
I mean, you love it for the entertainment value, right?
Yes. Also, these are my queens, and I've created a monster. My daughter and her friends were watching Dance Moms the other day. And I sat there and I'm like, no, this is bad though. Like, this isn't good reality TV. And I was like, these people are horrible. And they're like, we know. And I'm like, they watch it for the dance. But.
Yeah.
And then we were watching Traders and Louise was like, Kate and Phaedra, those are my gals. And I was like, come on over. She's ready, but she's actually not. She's 11.
Yeah. Oh, little Louise.
This one is disgusting, and I didn't even know that this was a thing that you could do. This one says, I worked at a very popular college bar, and given that I also worked for a newspaper, they made me sign an NDA when I started bartending. The bar had some of the worst health violations I'd ever seen. The kitchen was infested with rats, and the fruit was often old and moldy and was sometimes covered in ants. We also cleaned the floors with water and leftover lemon juice that was old and moldy. I ended up quitting the job after I got so sick that I had to go to the ER with strep throat, pneumonia, and pink eye in both of my eyes, and the only thing I was doing was working. After I called my boss telling him I was super sick, he said I was still expected to be at work the next day, so I just never showed up. I didn't know that you could make people sign NDAs for how disgusting you are.
Right?
That's so fucked up.
Make people sign whatever.
Yeah, I'm going to start making boyfriends sign NDAs for how annoying I am. everybody. I talk a lot. I'm very chatty, and it gets annoying. Just kidding. This is another reality show one. Several years ago, my family visited the Pawn Star shop while in Las Vegas. I was quietly approached by an employee who asked if I wanted to be on the show. When I told them I hadn't brought anything to pawn or sell, I was told that they would provide an item, and I just needed to make up a fake story about how I came across it. I was required to sign an NDA that threatened a very large fine if I disclosed the truth about the show. After I signed the NDA, they immediately closed the store and asked almost all of the customers to leave. The transaction was filmed with Rick Harrison and me. I don't know who that is. While some of the other shows are most likely real, others are totally fake. Oh, I'm sure they're all fake.
They're all fake.
Yeah. Okay. This one is fake. This one's interesting. This one says, a friend of mine got a job at a prominent local distillery that makes an extremely popular flavored whiskey. They literally buy whiskey from a third-party distillery and dump Tirani flavoring syrup into it. I bet I know who it is.
Who is it?
I bet it's that like peanut butter whiskey crap that people drink. It's disgusting, but people love it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that's what it is. So I didn't sign shit. Come at me, screwball or whatever the fuck your name is. So it's disgusting. Oh my gosh, this one's disheartening. Not that I've ever used a matchmaking company, but I'm just saying. It says, I worked at a matchmaking company. It's all fake. It's literally just throwing darts at a wall until something sticks. There's no science or magic to it at all.
I mean, yes, of course. Of course.
Oh, I'm such a sucker for believe. Now, I haven't used them, and I'm just saying, like, I totally thought, like, they're like, you like this, jazz music? He likes jazz music. You like staying in during the week? But they're like, no. Oh my God. Okay, I'll do a couple more. Have you ever seen the show Cash Cab?
Yes.
Okay, this says, not me,
Ben
but a
Bailey?
guy. Yeah, I think. This one says, not me, but a guy I know was on Cash Cab. Allegedly, a lot of it was fake. He was told he would be on a travel food show and would get picked up by a fake taxi at a certain location at a certain time. There were camera crews outside the taxi, and there was no way on earth you could mistake it for a real cab.
Yeah.
So I guess they kind of lied to him.
Kind of. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, that's better than I would have expected. So, because I mean, it's like anytime you see someone on camera, there are obviously cameras. Like there are cameras capturing all that. So like the people have to know something.
I always think about every like TikTok I see, every whatever of a family eating dinner, and then this funny thing happens. I'm like, why is anybody recording this? And like, why is somebody recording? Like, I just saw a video of a little girl recording her parents dancing, but then it was like, oh, this is so cute, but she accidentally had the camera turned to her face, and then it shows this like cute video of the little girl like smiling because her parents are dancing. I'm like, yes, but there's a third camera, and the camera that is filming your daughter filming you dancing. So what is that about? Like all of that shit is fake. It's so fake.
It's so fake. It's all fake. It's all a conspiracy.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Open your eyes, sheeple.
This one is the last one, and it's so stupid, but it says, I had to sign one for the most boring secret ever: how to process sand through a processing plant. Yep, that really required an NDA. That was somebody that just took their job way too seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I'm sure there are like trade secrets to that kind of thing. Maybe they developed like a super efficient way. I don't know. I can't. I'm like, it's so boring that I can't even think about.
I know. I would
how
fall
that
asleep.
Might work.
Yeah, while they were talking to me about it.
I love that list. That was a good one.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. Okay, so that's my listicle this week. You ready to do our top fives?
Let's do our top five. This week, we're going to do our top 5 jobs that we wanted as kids. And I'm very excited to hear yours.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's like, it's once I started making the list, I was like, is this funny, or is this just like a recording of all my lost hopes and dreams?
I know. was like, oh, we'll see. All right, you
All
want to
of
go
my
first?
wasted years. Yes. Okay. My number 5. I used to when I would say like kindergarten through 3rd grade, I was
Yeah.
obsessed with drawing, specifically drawing like Garfield and Snoopy, and I wanted to be a cartoonist.
I was also obsessed with drawing Garfield. I can still
Really?
draw Garfield to this day.
It's funny. I was just talking to my friend Luis, who listens to the podcast. Hey, Luis, and
Hello, Luis.
we were joking with each other about like drawing Garfield, and he
Yeah.
collects Garfields, and so we were like, okay, let's do like a really quick like Garfield drawing challenge, and like without looking, and let's draw it, and then
How
we
was
like
it?
took pictures, and we were both so terrible. Like
Oh,
you think you
man.
remember the how to do it. You draw a Garfield.
I'll draw a Garfield.
Okay,
I can
do it. You think you remember it, but then like after you draw it, you're like, oh, I forgot the this part or the that part. But yeah, I used to have it on lock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same. There must have been like that. There must have been in a Garfield book, like, here's how to draw Garfield. And then I was like, practiced it. And it was like the one thing I could draw was the Garfield. That's so funny. My number 5 is I wanted to be a hairdresser. My brother and I used to practice like doing my mom's hair, and we called ourselves Michael and Michelle. We were hairdressers, and we used to pretend to be hairdressers, but mostly it was just like putting clips in my mom. She always had short hair. So it was like just putting like, barrettes all in her hair and like putting on her makeup and stuff.
That's adorable.
Isn't that cute?
Michael and Michelle.
Michelle.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you didn't actually cut anybody's hair. Did you actually cut anybody's hair?
No.
Okay.
Except for my own. But
My sister
else's.
did that to me. She asked me to play Beauty Paula with her, and we played Beauty Paula. And I had pigtails, and like they came like I had long hair. And she cut one of them right off. Yeah. And then I had like a boy's haircut for a long time. And I hated it. So I would try to pull on my hair to make it grow faster. But I was like pulling my hair out of my head. And my mom thought that there was something wrong with me. Like I was sick because I had all these bald spots. And it was like, no, I just want my hair back. This is the spiral that my sister sent me on. And my poor mother.
Oh my God. That's
Number
amazing.
4 is I just wanted to be a writer. I just wanted to write anything really, which I guess I do kind of with comedy, but not really. A little, yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, along those same lines, I wanted to be an actress. Actress. Yeah. I mean, didn't we all? I was in like every play growing up, and even I went to performing arts school, and then
you're so lucky. I wanted to go to a performing arts school so bad.
It was cool. I was just talking about this, but like in our lunchroom, so this was like 7th or 8th grade. In our lunchroom, we had a jukebox, and so everybody would eat their lunch real quick, and then we would all turn on the jukebox and dance during lunch, like it was fucking fame.
Oh my God, that like
so great.
The hot lunch jam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that whole dance, man.
Yeah, and we would like learn different dances, and like kids would teach like the like different, I don't know, whatever cool dances, like the Running Man or whatever.
Oh my God,
during
that's
lunch.
so cool.
So great. Yeah.
I'm so jealous of you. Oh my God. That would have been my dream. My number 3 is I wanted to be a private eye detective, and I still want to be one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's like my
great
secret
detective.
Thank you. I feel like I would be. I am a good Googler.
You're so good at Googling. My number 3 is that I wanted to be a doctor. A doctor.
Oh.
And I thought I actually went to college to become a doctor, and then I took a anatomy class and threw up. and was like, "Oh, nope, I can't stand the sight of blood."
Oh,
And
so what did you have to do? What did you see a cadaver? Like what was
No, it
the
wasn't like it was like a fetal pig. But I was just like,
yeah.
"Ugh." It was awful. I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I can't. I
I
don't."
remember having like an elementary school teacher that kept a fetal pig in a jar on his desk, and it was the
What?
most like fucking disturbing thing ever. And but like kids like to look at it, and I was just like, oh, I couldn't. How are we supposed to learn when we're looking at a dead pig in a jar?
Right.
So
This is
disgusting.
just a pig in a jar.
Gross. um, my number two is I wanted to be a dancer.
A
I
dancer.
danced a lot growing
Yeah.
up. I still do, but
I've seen you.
but I'll never be a ballerina.
Oh, yeah, probably not. Although, listen, I have this woman that I know. She owns QED in New York. You know, the comedy club QED.
Oh
Oh my
yeah,
God, yeah.
uh-huh.
So she started at like 45, started doing ice skating, like figure skating from just like not knowing how to do anything. And now she's doing like twists and shit and like doing recitals and I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
she's like 50. It's great.
That's awesome. I remember when
I love
me and
it.
my friends took because my friend Krista is a dance teacher at a studio, and
Uh-huh.
they had an adult hip hop class, and I think I was like 23 at the time,
Yeah.
and me and like my friend Claire and who else did it? My friend Tommy, and like we took this adult hip hop class, and we had a recital, and the
Yeah.
recital was like amongst all the other children, and so it was like a kids recital, and then there was us, and I remember us like drinking Budweiser in the parking lot before the recital, trying to get a buzz on so we could go do a hip hop routine in front of all these parents.
Well, that's like our friend Katrina was in an adult hip hop class that had a recital at like her kids also took hip
Oh,
hop at
really?
the same school. And
That's
yeah.
so funny. Right after this episode of after we're done recording, I'm taking Louise to a hip hop class that we're both taking together for the first time ever. So this will be fun.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I wish I
we'll
could
see.
be there.
I know. I wish you could
I
too.
really would love to see little Louise at that hip hop class.
I'm afraid she'll never look at me the same again.
Well,
But
just
we'll
don't
see.
drop it as low as you can. You know what I mean?
I won't.
Don't look like you're doing, you know what you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Okay, my number two, and this was like, I really wanted this for a very long time, was I wanted to be a summer camp director. Like, I wanted to
Aw.
run a summer camp because I loved summer camp and I still do. Actually, Ben and I got married at a summer camp. I was like a camp counselor for a long time, but I always thought, like, I will get married to somebody from camp and then we will run a camp together and have our kids and we'll live at camp and we'll just run a summer camp.
Do you still have that dream? Like, do you think you'll ever like one day own
No.
a summer camp?
I think it's a young person's game.
It's a yeah. Takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, it sounds
And bug
it sounds-
spray.
It sounds
Yeah.
exhausting now, but that's the time. I think that was like my senior superlative was like most likely to like where you'll be in 10 years or whatever.
Oh.
And mine was like running a summer camp.
Oh, mine was cutest accent. Thank you, I guess. No, just kidding.
On behalf of me and my mother.
I guess. What are you talking about? What am I? So my number one thing that I wanted to be, which I guess I still would love to be, but
Yeah.
I remember writing in. There used to be a show on Saturday afternoons called like it was like after Saved by the Bell came
Yeah.
on, and it was called Name Your Adventure, and it was hosted by Mario Lopez.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like writing into him and being like, I want to be the first child ever to host SNL. And that was like my dream. Like I was like, I want to be the first kid on SNL. And I thought like, this is perfect. This is an NBC show. It's that's an NBC show. Come on. I was already thinking like, and those, I was like, it would behoove you. two birds with one stone. I never heard any word from Mario Lopez. And to this day, whenever I see him, I can't help but feel a certain way.
right? You're
I don't like them.
You stole my dreams from me.
Yeah, if
only you
he
would've-
would read my letter on the show. They
You
had kids
would've-
like swimming with dolphins and shit. It's like, come on, this is so much cooler.
Right?
Yeah, so I wanted to be on SNL so bad. I was obsessed with Saturday Night Live. You know,
Yeah.
I'd still take it, but I think I've probably aged out. Maybe that'll be the new, you know, it's all about like having like diversity and like and interesting people on the show. Maybe that'll be like my diversity angle is like old lady.
You need a lady
Funny old lady
mom
on the show. Yeah,
Get
yeah,
the
yeah.
moms. Get the moms in. Look at
Lauren, are
Leanne
you-
Morgan. Come on.
I know. Are you listening, Lauren?
Are you listening? My number one, and I think this was more of what my mom coached me to say, but from the time I was probably 4 to maybe 8, whenever anyone would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I would tell them that I wanted to be the first woman president.
Oh, I love that. That's a real Sally answer.
I want to be the first woman president, and I cannot think of anything I would hate more now, but
Well, I believe
Yeah.
you still can be Sally.
Do you think so?
I do.
I think there's too much video out there of me just saying really inappropriate things.
Well, also you were arrested and there's a mugshot of you.
Somewhere,
And if
man.
you ran for president, someone will find that mugshot.
Maybe that's what I need to get this mugshot. To get
Yes.
my hot ass 20-year-old mugshot.
Yes. Go. This is it. You run for president and
Yeah.
you campaign and you fundraise all in the name of finding your 20-year-old mugshot, hot
Yeah.
mugshot.
Yeah, my hot shot. Oh,
What do you
man.
think that just real quick, like for the people that like watch our clips when we post, what do you think your face looked like in the picture?
I think I look
Recreate it
like
real
this.
Man, you should have gave a good like I'm gonna
No.
fuck. That's what I would
Oh.
have done. I would have been like,
No. Oh no,
So.
Jen. You know me, I'm a rule follower. I was mortified to be there. I was
What a
like,
wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
no. Next time.
We'll be
Next
sure to
time.
post that clip.
Yep. Oh, yeah, we will. All right. Well, you guys, what did you want to be when you grew up? We want to hear all of your dashed hopes and dreams.
Yeah, or maybe some of you actually did it. Maybe
Yeah,
some
did
of you
anybody
are
do
actually
it?
the first woman president of the United States.
That would be amazing. Yeah, so get in touch with us. You can find us on Instagram at The Ridiculous Pod. You can find us on TikTok at The Ridiculous Podcast. You could rate and review. You could tell a friend. We would love that.
We would love all those things. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week on The Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, ridiculous, ridic. You.